Hello, guys, and welcome. I've got a bit of an update here on the guy you can see on your screen, obviously being Alexander Mitrovic. Now, he's been told, obviously, by his agent, and I can't remember, it was something else, another organisation has told him that he needs to go on the tour with Fulham to the US. So he has gone with Fulham to the tour in the US, but he has told people who are close to him, family, friends, relatives, that he will never play for Fulham again. So all this has obviously come out of Al Hilal or Al Hali having bids rejected for him and feel like he's being priced out of a move. They feel like he's only valued at 35 to 40 million, whereas Fulham have put a 52 million price tag on who, for me, is probably the best player at Fulham, star player for Fulham. So yeah, this is a bit of a crazy one, to be fair. This has come out of nowhere. Obviously, we have heard that there has been two bids rejected for him, and people thought, all right, fair enough. There were rumours he wanted to go there, but Fulham wanted a little bit more money. But the news is now is that Fulham want a lot more money. I think they've had a 30 and a 35 million pound bid rejected, and yeah, Mitrovic is not happy at all. It feels like he's been priced out of a move away from Fulham. He wants to try, obviously, a new challenge somewhere else. Obviously, he's been a key player for Fulham now for the last 5 years. Obviously, the first year was on loan, and then he had the breakout season in the Championship where he broke the most goals in the Championship season 2 seasons ago. And he feels like now, is the right time to leave Fulham. And Fulham are basically just like, okay, no, it's not going to happen. If you're going to go, you're going to go, and we're going to get as much as we want for you. And they have slapped a 52 million price tag on Alexander Mitrovic, which is obviously, in my opinion, I do think it's a lot. Obviously he's a great striker. He's going to get you goals, but £52 million for me is quite a lot of money to pay for a striker when you could possibly get better strikers out there than Mitrovic for the same sort of price. But yeah, I think this is going to be one that I'll definitely keep an eye on. Obviously, at the moment, it does look like he's maintaining the stance of I'm never playing for Fulham again. But there's obviously two sides to every story, and obviously Mitrovic is like, do you know what? Now I'm being told they want £52 million for me, but I feel like I'm being priced out of a move. I don't feel like I'm being allowed to talk to interested clubs. Obviously, personal terms clearly won't be a problem for the Saudi Arabian clubs, and yeah, I do understand where. Obviously, you've got to side with the club more. End of the day, the club can put a price tag on any player. At the end of the day, he's contracted to Fulham. So Fulham, if they like, no, end of the day, if you're coming in with an offer and we don't feel like it's close to where we value him, then your bid's going to be rejected. We've seen it many times in the past. And right now it's a bit of a deadlock between obviously Fulham and Alexander Mitrovic. Obviously, Mitrovic is, like I've just previously said, has told relatives, look, I'm not going to be playing for Fulham ever again, which obviously throws a big spanner in the works for Marco Silva as well. Obviously, he would have been planning to go into the season with his star striker Mitrovic. They've got the opening game at Everton as well, which it does look more and more like Mitrovic either won't be at Fulham anymore or just simply will refuse to play, which we've seen that in the past with certain players where they refuse to play for the clubs to force a transfer through. And that looks like it could be another one of those sort of situations. I can see it maybe going that way. Mitrovic has been very hard on his stance, to even go as far as to tell people who are close to him to say, look, I'm not playing for Fulham anymore. If they want to try and pick me, I'm just going to refuse. And, he has always had a tendency to, be a bit hot-headed and not think. You obviously saw in the FA Cup game against Manchester United last season when he pushed the referee. He does have them sort of tendencies to make silly decisions at key moments, and I think it's a 50-50 because you don't know what's happened behind the scenes at Fulham, what they could have told Mitrovic. But at the end of the day, you've got to see it from Mitrovic's point of view if he wants to leave, and he feels like he's done all he can with Fulham. Allow him to leave, bring in another striker. But it's a standoff, isn't it? That's just all it is. Basically, it's just a standoff, as if to say, look, you either let me leave or I'm going to refuse to play. You're still going to be paying my wages. So at the end of the day, let me leave. But I do understand where Fulham are coming from. A professional footballer should be professional in his approach. And Mitrovic is obviously not being at the moment, which it clearly isn't. He's refusing to play for the club who pays wages, which I don't think he should be doing that. I think he should maybe have a sit down with the owner, sit down with the manager and say, look, this is what I want. I feel like I've done all I can at this club. I want to be allowed to leave. I'm interested in moving to Saudi Arabia and I don't want to be priced out of remove because they're not going to pay £52 million for him. They've already said they value him between 35 and 40 million, which is 12 million out of their range of what they're willing to pay for Mitrovic. And, Mitrovic is obviously, like I said, he is a bit hot-headed and he does have a tendency to act before thinking. And this could be one of them situations where he's just said, I'm annoyed, I'm not going to get what I want, so I'm just going to refuse to play. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. At the end of the day, like I said, I think it should be a face-to-face meeting with Marco Silva, because he will be the man who has to replace him at the end of the day. He has to take every player's feelings into consideration. And if Mitrovic feels like he needs to move or he wants to move because he feels like he's completed his mission at Fulham, he's done whatever he can at Fulham, and now he wants to try a new challenge, obviously he's going to get a lot more money in Saudi Arabia, which is obviously going to play a factor. It's going to play a factor in anybody's decision to join a Saudi Arabian club at the moment, just because of the crazy money they're throwing at players. And is it from a footballing stand that he wants to go to Saudi Arabia, or could it be, look, I'm at this age now, I want to try and make my money while I can, and maybe come back to Europe in 3-4 years, I've made my money in Saudi Arabia, and then continue my journey in Europe. It is a bit of a crazy one. Again, there's been teams interested in Mitrovic in the past, but it's just never materialised. But he's obviously very, very keen on the move to Saudi Arabia, to the point where he's now said to people who are close to him that I'm not going to play for the club anymore. Obviously we don't know if he's going to play in pre-season or not. We obviously don't have a clue if he's even going to be, on the bench, if he's even going to... We know he's training with the camp. At the moment, he's not being singled out and left to go and train alone. He is training with the main group and everything like that. So he's not being frozen out in that sense. It's just now a sense of, where does he go from here? Does he have a face-to-face with Marco Silva? Does he have a face-to-face with the owners to say, look, this is my wish, this is what I want, I don't want to stay, I want to leave, but I don't want to be priced out of the move. I think 52 million is too much for Mitrovic, in my opinion. I don't think he's worth 52 million. I think the 35 to 40 million is a fair price, but at the end of the day, like I said before, it's Fulham's player, so they can decide what they want to sell him and what they don't want to sell him for. But again, it's just a two-sided story, and Fulham are refusing, and yet Mitrovic clearly don't want to stay. So they've got to come to a compromise at some point, and they'll just have to wait and see what happens. And I will keep you updated, obviously, of course, if anything else gets said on this matter. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which side do you want, Fulham or Mitrovic? Let me know. If you did enjoy, obviously, please do leave a like, and please subscribe for more videos like this. Anyway, guys, I'll see you soon.